The lineup for the 2026 Cannes Film Festival has been announced, which means we could be looking at tomorrow's Oscar winners today, and I've got the rundown right now. This video is brought to you by Factor. Go to factormeals.com/Murrell50off and use code Murrell50off for a special offer, and stay tuned after the video for more info. Hello everybody, I'm Dan Murrell, here with a look at the rundown of films that will be competing in this year's Cannes Film Festival. And I know what you might be thinking, why should I care about a bunch of movies that are playing at a film festival all the way over in France? Well, if you know anything about the Cannes Film Festival, especially in recent years, you'll also know that many of the films that have premiered at Cannes have gone on to be major awards contenders at the Academy Awards, not just in the international feature race, but also for Best Picture, Best Director, the screenplay categories. This truly is the kickoff to the 2027 Academy Awards season, and I think that there are a lot of very strong contenders in the group this year. The jury at the Cannes Film Festival next month will be headed by Park Chan-wook, a fantastic filmmaker, who will determine, along with others, who the winners of this year's festival will be. And just to underscore the correlation between recent competitors at Cannes and Oscar success, 4 of the 5 nominees for Best International Film at the Academy Awards this year all debuted at last year's Cannes Film Festival. Those movies were It Was Just an Accident, Sentimental Value, which won the Oscar, Sirat, and The Secret Agent. The Voice of Hind Rajab was the only nominee this year for Best International Film that was not in competition at Cannes. It premiered at the Venice Film Festival in the fall. It Was Just an Accident won the Palme d'Or, which is the top prize at Cannes last year, with Sentimental Value taking the Grand Prix, which is the second place prize, but Sentimental Value ended up taking home the Oscar. And on the surface, this year's lineup may not look very starry. The name recognition for anything other than hardcore cinephiles may be a bit low, but actually, the group of filmmakers competing this year at Cannes is incredibly pedigreed. The directors of the films this year have won multiple Palme d'Ors at Cannes, have won multiple Academy Awards. So I'm going to run down some of what I think are what you might call the higher profile films, and we'll start with films from directors who have had success at Cannes in the past. The first movie in the lineup I'm going to talk about is called All of a Sudden, which is co-written and directed by Ryusuke Hamaguchi, whose film Drive My Car won the Academy Award for Best International Film in 2022. He was also nominated for Best Director and Best Adapted Screenplay that year. His next film, Evil Does Not Exist, took the second place prize at the Venice Film Festival in 2023. His latest film, All of a Sudden, is the first film that Hamaguchi has made in the French language, and it's about a Paris nursing home administrator. And one indication that it might be a competitor for the top prize is that Neon has already picked up the distribution rights here in the United States. Neon has acquired the distribution rights to the last 6 consecutive Palme d'Or winners at Cannes, starting with Parasite all the way to last year's It Was Just an Accident. Of those 6 movies, 2 were nominated for Best International Feature, 5 were nominated for Best Picture with 2 winners, and 4 of them were nominated for their screenplays with 3 winners. Director Pedro Almodovar is very popular at Cannes, and his latest film, Bitter Christmas, will be in competition. Almodovar has won Best International Film at the Oscars twice, in 2000 and 2003, and he's won prizes at Cannes for directing and writing, but never the top prize, never the Palme d'Or. In true Almodovar fashion, Bitter Christmas is a complex story, jumping between time periods about a director writing a story and another director who I think is writing the same story, kind of. Listen, Almodovar is a vibe, and this one seems to fit his vibe. Next up, we have a movie called Coward, which is co-written and directed by Belgian director Lucas Dont. His last film, Close, was nominated for Best International Film at the Oscars and took home second place, the Grand Prix at Cannes. I quite enjoyed that film. Coward is about a soldier in the trenches during World War I who begins to question the nature of war and bravery. Next up is a movie called Fatherland, which is co-written and directed by Paweł Pawlikowski. His film, Ida, won the Oscar for Best International Film in 2015, and his 2019 film, Cold War, was nominated for the same award, Best International Film. and he also picked up a nomination that year at the Oscars for Best Director after picking up the same prize at Cannes. Fatherland is a biopic of sorts about the late years of German writer Thomas Mann, who fled from the Nazis but returned to Europe after World War II as he attempts to travel from West to East Germany with his daughter, who is played by a fantastic actress, Anatomy of a Fall's Sandra Hüller. This movie, sight unseen, I think might have the most buzz this year. It's called Fjord, and it's written and directed by Christian Mungiu. His film, 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days, won the Palme d'Or at Cannes in 2007. He also won the Screenplay Prize at Cannes in 2012 and the Best Director Prize at Cannes in 2016, so the festival loves this director. Sebastian Stan and Renate Reinsve star as a couple who move to a small town in Norway but are soon suspected of some sort of wrongdoing and begin to feel these small town walls closing in on them. It feels like it may have a bit of an Anatomy of a Fall vibe. Neon has already bought the US distribution rights for this movie, so they obviously believe in it. They also have distribution rights in the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. Mulan is a film that is directed by Hungarian filmmaker Laszlo Nemes. His first film, Son of Saul, won the Grand Prix at Cannes and won the Oscar for Best International Film. Mulan is about French resistance fighter Jean Moulin, who risked his life entering Nazi-occupied territory during World War II to rally the resistance and was captured by the Nazis. Parallel Tales is from another acclaimed filmmaker, Iranian director Asghar Farhadi. 2 of his films have won the Oscar for Best International Film, A Separation and The Salesman. A Separation was also nominated at the Academy Awards for Best Original Screenplay. The Salesman won him the Screenplay Prize at Cannes, and his last film, A Hero, took the Grand Prix. Parallel Tales is an ensemble film set in the direct aftermath of the November 13th, 2015 coordinated terror attacks in and around Paris. Sheep in the Box is from director Hirokazu Koreeda. His 2018 film Shoplifters won the Palme d'Or at Cannes and was nominated for the Academy Award for Best International Film. His last movie, Monster, won him the Screenplay Prize at that year's Cannes Film Festival. Sheep in the Box is about a couple who adopts a robot child after their biological child dies, and Neon also has the US distribution rights to this film. The Unknown is directed by Arthur Harari and co-written by him and a group of writers, including Justine Triet, with whom he won the Academy Award for writing Anatomy of a Fall. Anatomy of a Fall was, of course, also a Palme d'Or winner and one of my favorite movies the year that it came out. The Unknown is based on a graphic novel that Harari wrote with his brother, and it's about a man who turns into a woman that he had a one-night stand with, played by Léa Seydoux. Neon has the distribution rights to this movie as well. So those are the movies from filmmakers that have had success at the Cannes Film Festival in the past, but there are also a few movies starring recognizable stars that go beyond perhaps the filmmaking world, the geeks that follow the film festivals like I do. One of those movies is called The Beloved. It's from Spanish director Rodrigo Sorogoyen, and it stars Javier Bardem as a film director who reunites with his daughter after several years without contact, so somewhat similar to Sentimental Value. The Black Ball is also from 2 Spanish directors, Javier Calvo and Javier Ambrosi. It's set in 3 different years following the lives of 3 gay men, and the ensemble cast includes Penelope Cruz, Julio Torres, and Glenn Close. Hope is from South Korean director Na Hong-jin, featuring a mainly South Korean cast, but starring a handful of Hollywood actors playing mysterious beings, including Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander. The Man I Love comes from an American director, Ira Sachs, who directed Ben Whishaw and Rebecca Hall to acclaim in last year's Peter Hujar's Day. The Man I Love is set in New York in the 80s, and Rami Malek plays an actor dealing with an impending battle with AIDS. Rebecca Hall and Eben Moss-Backrack are among the supporting cast, so we could see these movies break out on their own. We could see the performances in these films break out, and there are other movies in competition that I didn't mention that could be the breakout hits of the festival. I mean, how many people maybe had Parasite as the big movie coming out of the Cannes Film Festival back in 2019? There are also a few other categories at Cannes. There are some movies that will be screening at the festival, but screening out of competition, which means that they will not be eligible to win the top prize. One of those movies is Her Private Hell, which is the first film from director Nicholas Winding Refn since 2016's The Neon Demon. Sophie Thatcher stars as a woman whose life turns into a neon-infused hell when her city is engulfed by mist. Charles Melton co-stars, and Neon will eventually distribute this film in the United States. Another film screening out of competition is called Fulfill from French musician turned filmmaker Quentin Dupieux. Woody Harrelson and Kristen Stewart play a father and daughter whose trip to Paris goes absurdly off the rails. Emma Mackey is a co-star in this film, and we also get Tim and Eric. Tim Heidecker and Eric Wareheim are also part of the cast. Another category at the Cannes Film Festival is called Un Certain Regard, which is for more offbeat experimental filmmaking. There are several movies that are screening in this category, but the one that stood out to me is called Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. It's the third film from Jane Schoenbrunn following We're All Going to the World's Fair, and their buzzy film I Saw the TV Glow from 2024. Hannah Einbinder plays a horror director in charge of the latest film in a long-running Friday the 13th type slasher franchise who brings back the first movie's final girl, played by Gillian Anderson. I'd be on board for a Gillian Anderson comeback. Schoenbrunn has described the film as Portrait of a Lady on Fire set in a Friday the 13th movie, which means I'm sold. Mubi already has the U.S. distribution rights. It was produced by Brad Pitt's Plan B, and it has a theatrical release set here in the United States on August 7th. Then there is the premiere section at Cannes. Oftentimes, this will include a huge Hollywood film that wants a big attention-grabbing debut. There are no big Hollywood films, even though there are several big ones coming out this summer that are premiering at Cannes. The most interesting one for me this year is the directorial debut of John Travolta. It's a movie called Propeller One-Way Night Coach. He wrote the movie as well. It's his feature directorial debut, and it's based on a children's book that he wrote back in 1997. It's about a young boy who realizes his dream of flying across the country in a propeller plane. Apple TV will debut the film on the streaming service shortly after it screens at Cannes. There will also be some other ceremonial duties at the festival this year. There will be 2 honorary Palme d'Ors given out, which are given out to very influential figures in the film industry. This year, Barbra Streisand will be given an honorary Palme d'Or, as will Peter Jackson. So you can look forward to that happening. The festival itself will be taking place just over a month from now, from May 12th through the 23rd, and I will be here covering the winners at Cannes, because as likely as many of these movies are to be nominated at the Academy Awards and maybe even win some Oscars, the winners are even more likely. I think most of the films last year that were in the Best International Feature that played at Cannes won some kind of award, so stay tuned. A little over a month from now, I'll bring you all the movies that won after the jury, led by Park Chan-wook, has its say at the Cannes Film Festival. And stay tuned here for everything else going on in the world of entertainment. Before we go, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, Factor. Picture this. It's been a long day, you're tired, you want to eat something healthy, but wouldn't it be so much easier to eat something fast and not healthy? Well, now you don't have to choose, because Factor provides delicious meals that are quick and easy to prepare and that are also healthy. My schedule is pretty insane for most of the year. Days on the road, late night driving, all night edits. And it's great to know that I always have a healthy, quick, delicious option right there in my fridge whenever I am able to eat. Factor has meals that are built around whatever your goals are, whether that's eating lean, eating more veggies, or upping your protein. They even have a Muscle Pro collection for strength and workout recovery. One of my favorite options is on the menu for next week, the green chili queso burger. I'm a big fan of peppers with just about any meal, and that really hits the spot. Factor meals are fresh, never frozen, with over 100 meals rotating weekly, and they're delivered right to your door and ready to eat in 2 minutes. I love being able to eat no matter what time of day it is or what my schedule's like, knowing that I'm still able to hit my own personal goals when it comes to diet and nutrition. Head to factormeals.com/Murrell50off and use code Murrell50off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box with a new subscription only while supplies last until 9/27/2026. See the website for more details. Once again, that's factormeals.com/Murrell50off and the code Murrell50off. Thanks to Factor for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching. Be sure to stay tuned right here for the latest in movie news, reviews, box office, and more. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.